Hi guys, and welcome to episode 5 of the $500 to $10,000 trading challenge. Over here we can see the overview of the current trades that we have taken so far. We've taken 7 trades so far, in which we have lost 2 of them, 1 break even and 4 wins. An approximate win rate of 71%, and our total accumulated dollars are $47.80. As you guys can see on the screen right here, unfortunately we ended last episode with entering a Solana long limit, and unfortunately, as you can see, Solana got stopped out for a $15 loss, an exact $15 loss. Unfortunately lost on the account, but we are currently still in $47 profit, which is an approximate 10% gain on the account, which is still very nice. What we can see on RNDR over here is a beautiful range, with our first range low pivot over here at the start of this impulse, our range high pivot over here at the end of that impulse, and then over here we form a third pivot based on that first range low pivot, in which we have a beautiful range, and also the mid range is getting respected perfectly over here, and also providing beautiful support over here. So the range levels are getting respected. We have 3 clean pivots. We have a very clean range. Then we deviated above the range high, deviated beneath the range high again, and we expanded higher. Right now we have this buy side liquidity, in which is also the previous all-time high, so an important liquidity pool. More locally we can see fake break of structure, fake break of structure, and a fake break of structure. Now why are these fake break of structures? Because these highs that we break through did not bring us to new lows compared to the lows that brought us to that high. Okay, so that is very important. So price action like this isn't a valid break of structure. If you want to see a valid break of structure to the upside, you need to have some kind of a behavior like this, and then break the high that brought you to a fresh low compared to the low that brought you to that high. Okay, so these fake break of structures are making people buy RNDR, where they're placing their stops beneath this low, and beneath this low. Okay, we have 2 bullish order blocks. We have this bullish order block and this bullish order block. Both order blocks have an inducement, with this inducement above this order block, and the bottom of that order block being the inducement for this order block, which is why I'm anticipating 2 potential entry points. I'm risking $10 on the first entry point and $5 on the second entry point. Okay, I'm hoping to flush the stop losses of the late long and buy positions, then find support at that beautiful range high that exactly aligns with that bullish order block, or sweep the first order block and then reclaim the range high and then continue towards new all-time highs for RNDR. Now currently I'm trading RNDR and not other altcoins. Why? Because other altcoins on the 4-hourly time frame have shifted the trend to the downside, which means that I cannot set limit orders yet until we get a shift in trend back to the upside. The trend on RNDR, in opposed to them, right, is very strong, in which for RNDR I am able, according to my system, because the trend is still strongly to the upside, to set some limit orders, to hope for a quick flush, to see if our limit orders get filled or not. If we take out the previous high, then the setup becomes invalidated. Let's see if we can get filled or not, and let's move on to the next trade. On the screen right here is that RNDR unfortunately did not fit our orders and pumped to new all-time highs afterwards. Nevertheless, we just entered a brand new trade on Solana, which I will explain to you guys in a minute. Solana is currently running in an approximately $2 profit. So we entered with a market entry and we are risking $10 on this trade. It's a bit of a risky one, but I will explain to you guys my reasoning for the trade right now. So what we can see over here on Solana is still the range that I was talking about, and I'm still anticipating a range breakout at some point and then continuation towards higher targets. Right now, Solana swept the liquidity beneath these lows over here. It tapped into the daily fair value gap over here that I marked out. And after tapping into the daily fair value gap and holding on to the 200 moving average and the 200 estimated moving average on the 4-hourly time frame, we can see that on the 1-hourly time frame over here, Solana put in a valid break of structure, right? Because we opened and closed candles above this high that brought us to this low. And afterwards it formed a higher low over here. And right now it can potentially form a wave 3. So let's say this is wave 1, this is wave 2, then we could be starting wave 3, which is usually the most impulsive one towards the upside and consists out of 5 sub-minute waves. And if you want to be positioned during that wave, you do not want to wait obviously for the end of wave 3, but you want to anticipate. So I'm a little late over here. Usually I would set limits, but I missed out on the break of structure because I was quite busy yesterday. But I planned now this trade in the stream. It is following the plan, so right now I have just market ended over here, obviously gave the signal in the Discord, and right now we can see if we get some profit on this, or if we hit stop loss. Right now, as you guys can see, our Solana trade is a little bit underwater and is quite close to hitting stop loss. If stop loss gets hit, then I think we lose about $15 of the account. Obviously, stop losses are part of the game. And if we hit stop loss again on Solana, it's probably just not our coin to trade on this challenge. Then we hit stop loss twice in a row, but currently, whether or not Solana hits stop loss, I am eyeing up a brand new trade on Woo, which I will show you guys right now. Over here on Woo, we have a very clean range with our range high pivot over here, our first range low pivot over here, and our second range low pivot over here. We know that after a sweep of the range low and a reclaim of the mid range, we should see an expansion towards buy side liquidity, which we have resting around $0.58, and we also have buy side liquidity resting around $0.52. Right now we see a first deviation beneath mid-range, followed by a second deviation beneath the mid-range, and then I know according to my system, the next play should be a liquidity pool above the range high, which rests over here. Which means that after the break of structure that we have over here, I'm trying to get in on Woo on a pullback, right? I have an aggressive entry over here, I have our first DCA order over here, and our second DCA order over here, right? If all three entries get hit and then afterwards we hit stop loss, we are risking $20 on the account. But if our entries do get hit and we move towards our take profit target, we are potentially going to make some very nice gains. Obviously, these entry points are based on low time frame levels that I did explain in our Twitch stream just yet. Also make sure to follow us on Twitch, the link can be found in the description down below. Now let's see whether or not Solana hits stop loss and whether or not this trade on Woo will play out or not. Okay guys, we have some good and some bad news. The bad news is, as you guys can see on screen right here, is that also the second position for Solana got stopped out, and on these two long tries we lost about $31 of the account, which is pretty shit, right? But on the other hand, our brand new Woo trade that I showed you guys a few days ago got hit, the first entry, and we have seen a beautiful pump ever since. Besides that, I'm also eyeing up two brand new trades, so things are looking quite okay right now. Let's dive into it. So over here we can see that Woo is currently in about $12 unrealized profits, and we have moved our stop loss to break even. We have our first take profit target set around $0.58, which is where we will close 75 of the current position. Currently the account is worth $543, and like I said, we are going to add two brand new long positions. The first long that I'm eyeing up is this long INJ. We have a beautiful low time frame reaccumulation range with two pivots over here, a range low pivot over here, and then we have some more pivots for the range high confirmation. We can see that over here we deviated beneath the mid-range, we swept a very important sell side liquidity over here, saw a push to the upside, and we shifted structure towards the upside on the 4-hourly time frame. The 4-hour structures to the upside, daily structures to the upside. We have flipped these EMAs over here. We have flipped the quarterly level. We are testing the range high for the 6th time already. So I'm hoping for a bit of a flush in which I've set several limit long entries, hoping for them to get filled, and then hopefully we see a push upwards afterwards. First take profit target is around $42.68, which is where we'll close 50% of the position in case we go there, and then I will keep a moon back because after breaking through this and this high, INJ is going to enter new all-time highs and potential price discovery mode. To get access to this exact analysis, this exact entry point, I'm doing all of this every single morning during the live streams in our Discord server. If you aren't part of the Discord server yet, make sure to join through the link in the description, join these live streams, and that's where I go over these setups step by step. People can literally watch live how I do my analysis on these trades and how I get to these trades. And that's something that is not really shown in this challenge series, of course, because I don't have the time to do so. But another long trade, and there's another one coming on Polkadot as well. So also for Polkadot, a beautiful high time frame range. Pivot 1 over here, pivot 2, pivot 3, this little wick, deviation below the mid-range, below the range low, test of the mid-range, and then we know after a deviation of the range low, as long as you hold the mid-range, you should expand towards that range high untapped liquidity pool. That's the first reason over here. And we see this local fake break of structure. People open up breakout longs over here or pullback longs, put their stops beneath this low, we sweep that low, and then we get another push up. That's very clean behavior on the 4-hourly time frame. On that push up on the 4-hourly time frame, we shift structure to the upside. More locally on the 1-hourly time frame, we see a similar kind of price action. We see a fake break of structure, liquidity sweep, push up, valid break of structure. Now we are looking to enter at a second deviation of the mid-range, a smaller deviation looking to fill our first and hopefully also our second order before an expansion towards the upside. Also Polkadot flipped all important EMAs on the 1 hourly, 2 hourly and 4 hourly time frame, which is giving us some extra confluence and confirmation for this trade. We have a risk-free trade on Woo running with $12 unrealized profits. We are risking $15 on the Polkadot trade and $20 on the INJ trade. Let's see if this trade plays out. But guys, you guys have to check out the next episode to find out, obviously, because unfortunately, this episode is coming to an end right now. I want to thank you guys for watching. Smash out the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I'll catch you guys during the next episode. Ciao, ciao!